Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. If you want to talk about this topic, Bitcoin, the stock market crash we're seeing, anything to do with politics, anything at all, your support via super chat is greatly appreciated. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, to my moderators, thank you for being amazing moderators. JG, everyone here, David, thank you so very much for tuning in, everybody. I want to start off with a philosophical discussion really quickly because I don't really get into this at all. I think that Bitcoin has value. I do understand the belief or perhaps the reality that it doesn't have intrinsic value in the eyes of a great many investors. That being said, the price is tied to the U.S. economy and the willingness of people to speculate. It's tied to economic growth. If you have a recession, which we're going to head into, and a stock market crash, Bitcoin is going to get down to 10,000. And the Dow is going to get closer to 20,000. We're seeing a stock market crash, and I've been telling everybody for the past 5 months. Read my article in The Federalist that's below in the pinned comment. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. I have two segments today, and I'll be doing 2 to 4, maybe 5 segments every day on the Stock Market Crash channel, and I'll be doing a lot of live streams on this channel, and maybe some live streams eventually on the Stock Market Crash channel. Yes, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, neither does a dollar bill. Now, I disagree with that because the dollar bill is based on the U.S. economy. And you might say, well, that's not true because the Fed can pump $4 to $5 trillion, or was it around $4 trillion, and the Congress can pump $6 trillion in stimulus, and they were even talking about a $1 trillion coin. It's not based on anything. There's no intrinsic value if you could just elevate if you could just pump as much money into the economy as possible. That's a whole other story. But I just want to start off with this, and I want to read this. Fears about virtual currency Bitcoin echo concerns about earlier financial innovations like paper money. Another source of concern that Bitcoin is dicey because it lacks intrinsic value is a weak argument. In truth, so this is, hold on one second. Let's see here. Another source of concern that Bitcoin is dicey because it lacks intrinsic value is a weak argument. In truth, almost nothing in the world of trading and money has intrinsic value. Money has only the value that is ascribed to it over time. The thing, however, is that the value ascribed to money is based upon the economic output or the gross domestic product of the country that's printing the money. That's when they say full faith and credit of the U.S. government, they're talking about that. And the reason that I bring that up and I start this is because Bitcoin is the wave of the future. Or cryptocurrencies, I agree with that. But right now, people aren't looking at crypto as a hedge in the manner of that gold is viewed as a hedge to inflation and to a recession and to Russia invading Ukraine, that type of thing. So that's not how it's being looked at. That's not how it's viewed. That's why it's going to go down. That's why it's going to go down to 10,000. And I'm telling you, when it happens, I'm not going to be happy. I don't want people to lose money. I don't care if you're the edgiest, leftist, socialist, communist, morally superior liberal Democrat. You love Biden. You think Trump is the reason for the end of the universe. I don't want you to lose money. I'm not like the left. They want you to suffer if you don't listen to them, or if they're proven right about something. They're rarely proven right about anything. But I'm not right. I won't be gleeful. Unfortunately, we're seeing this play out. But here, money has only the value that is ascribed to it over time. Fiat currency issued by nations has always faced distrust from skeptics who say it is backed only by a government's good faith. That helps explain the nostalgia for the gold standard when dollars and other government paper represented a fractional interest in gold. Look deeper, and it becomes clear that gold itself has no intrinsic value. But thousands of years as a universal symbol of wealth, that there's intrinsic value in that. Even if you want to say, well, that there's not so much, there's no intrinsic value in just, being part of, human history as a symbol of wealth and cherished no matter what culture, country, era. But that is valuable. I mean, so certain things are very valuable, even though you might not think so in this generation, or this new, this modern way of thought. Value anyway. Its supply is limited, as is Bitcoin, a strength of the digital currency, creating a relationship between supply and demand that cannot easily be manipulated. But gold itself has no value per se, other than that ascribed to it by humans over time. That's true, but over time, no matter what the country, era, time period was, gold has been valuable. It's viewed as a symbol of wealth, and you could use it to buy things. And so it's easy to believe in its value because people have done so for thousands of years, but that doesn't translate into actual value, only greater trust. That I disagree with, but anyway. So you look here, gold, the dollar. Why is this? Oh my God. Okay. Gold, the dollar, and debt and deficits. And if you look down here, why is this so difficult to talk? It talks about the full faith and credit. Let's see. Where is this? This is a 2012 article, but hold on a second. Okay. With the absence, so right here, with the absence of gold, with the absence of the gold standard, our currency is backed only by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Fiat money is what it's called. That means the government can print as many dollars as it wants, as often as it wants, and the more it prints, the less value each dollar possesses. So this is true. Janet McGuffey, thank you, Janet. Thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated, Janet. Thank you so much. So kind of you. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. I hope all is well. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, a Saturday evening. Thank you so very much, Janet. Thank you so much to my super chat. Thank you. Thank you as always, Janet. Greatly, greatly appreciated. So with the absence of the gold standard, our currency is backed only by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Fiat money is what it's called. That means the government can print as many dollars as it wants, as often as it wants. So we've seen so you would think, and here's the interesting thing. You would think that because the economy is slowly heading towards a recession, and the stock market is crashing before our eyes. Okay? You would think that crypto or Bitcoin would be more appealing because, well, you can't just print or you can't just create Bitcoins out of thin air. There's a fixed amount. But the problem is, at this point right now, in the history of cryptocurrencies, it is viewed as a speculative, very, very speculative investment. The price is tied to how well the U.S. economy, in this case, is functioning. The U.S. economy is heading towards a recession now. We're going to have a devastating stock market crash. And like I said, the appetite for people to take risks is not going to be there. So I want to read you this. And Janet, thank you so very much again to my super chat. Thank you. I want to read you this. And the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, the top two digital assets by market cap dropped over 40% each since mid-November. According to CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin hit an all-time high of roughly 69,000 in November. Well, that's interesting too, because the Dow was at an all-time high around then as well. So 69,000 in November before sinking to around 36,900 as of January 21st afternoon trading. I was doing segments last year saying Bitcoin was going to crash. You can look that up on my you can look that up on the playlist I have talking about my stock market crash prediction. So in recent days, the price of Bitcoin has fluctuated around around the 40,000 mark, but on Friday crashed under the $37,000 mark, a level below which there is not much support until the 30,000. It's unfortunately going to get to 10,000. Again, I'm not saying that because I'm not telling you this because I want it to happen. I'm not telling you this because I'm looking at this from some kind of trading perspective where I can look at graphs and charts and say, well, you know what? This is what I see based on an algorithm or a trading system that I've created. No. This is just, I'm looking at it from more of a, let's say, philosophical perspective. We pump $10 trillion into the economy. You would think that would make Bitcoin more valuable in the eyes of investors generally. But I'll explain why it's banned. It's banned now in Russia, China, and other countries. So there are hurdles that it has to overcome. Okay? Janet, thank you again. So it is banned in other countries. And so there are a lot of issues that Bitcoin has to overcome that other maybe fiat currencies don't. What? What does this mean? Subscribe to read more. No. Anyway, here, crypto is fully banned in China and 8 other countries. So, and now you have crypto is in turmoil as Russia eyes a ban on Bitcoin. Okay, so that's part of the reason. But again, even if the economy was soaring, if we didn't have the need to raise interest rates because inflation was running rampant, and inflation was like, closer to 15% as opposed to 7%. If we didn't have all of these problems directly related to Democratic Party policies, remember when they keep talking about, oh, look at our policies. I'm a policy wonk. They pride themselves, they cause problems because their policies don't work. Then they tubing themselves on new policies to try to fix the consequences and dilemmas and repercussions caused by their initial policies. So when the you-know-what hit, they had all of these policies in place, these apoplectic, hysterical, draconian policies. Then the policy wonks went into overdrive. Actually, they didn't. They just they basically said any JG, hello. They basically said anything that the experts and the authorities and the highly educated say we must do ended economic activity. Then they pumped in $10 trillion into the economy. You would think, based on Bitcoin's philosophy, you would think that it would make Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies more attractive. The opposite is happening, though. Okay? Now, the opposite is happening. I want to Bitcoin mining. So I want to just talk really quickly about so let's see here. Bitcoin mining becomes more difficult as algorithm adjusts. It just got harder and less profitable to mine for Bitcoin as algorithm adjusts. Every 2016 blocks, or every 2 weeks, Bitcoin resets how tough it is for miners to mine. Early Friday morning, as expected, this is in August of last year, the Bitcoin code automatically made it about 7.3% more difficult to solve a block. So I just want to read this really quickly. I know I'm still grasping, really, in a way, this concept or these concepts, and I understand. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to just overlook them, okay? But see, this is why, and I know that if you I know that if you speak to somebody who really loves Bitcoin and Ethereum or crypto, they're like, who cares what Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett or Peter Schiff say about anything? Who cares? It really doesn't even matter what they say. What does it matter? Who cares? But you have most investors who don't really care about or understand or think this is relevant to the value of an investment, which is why you would think philosophically, when you pump trillions into the economy, you would think that Bitcoin is actually a hedge, like gold, that it's actually like something you would want to go into as the dollar decreases in value. But here, I just want to read this. Historically speaking, the spike is difficult. The spike in difficulty is on the larger side, but it isn't surprising nor is it alarming. But it marks the first sizable increase since the Chinese mining ban took effect and serves as confirmation of a trend we already knew was underway. Some of the miners that used to be in China are finding new homes elsewhere. So I want to read really quickly about the mining process, because I think that we'll just look about Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is the process of creating new Bitcoins by solving puzzles. It consists of computing systems. Herschel, thank you so very much. It means a great deal to me, Herschel. I can't thank you enough. I mean, it means a great deal to me. Thank you so very much, Herschel. Thank you. So kind of you. And it's just so kind of you. Thank you, Herschel. Herschel Ballard, thank you very, very much. To my super chat, thank you. Janet, Herschel, thank you. Bitcoin mining is the process of creating new Bitcoin by solving puzzles. It consists of computer systems. So this is an Investopedia article. If you don't like this definition, it's not my fault. But the first Bitcoin miner as these systems are called, to solve the puzzles is rewarded with Bitcoin. The mining process also confirms transactions on the cryptocurrency's network and makes them trustworthy. For a short time after Bitcoin was launched, it was mined on desktop computers with regular central processing units, but the process was extremely slow. Now the cryptocurrency is generated using large mining pools spread across many geographies. Bitcoin miners aggregate mining systems that consume massive amounts of electricity to mine the cryptocurrency. In regions where electricity is generated using fossil fuels, Bitcoin mining is considered detrimental to the environment. As a result, many Bitcoiners, there are people who disagree with this viewpoint. I understand that. Again, when I talk about Bitcoin, please, if you happen to stumble upon this and you watch this and you say, H.A. Goodman is against Bitcoin. He thinks it's going to go to 10,000. I don't think it's going to go to 10,000 because I'm against Bitcoin. I think it's going to go to 10,000 because Mashed Potato Brains is against economic growth. He's against, what was the movie? Dragnet Pagans, People Against Goodness and Normality. Every policy he has is geared towards doing something else other than promoting economic growth. We're heading towards a recession. Elon Musk predicted that. I've been saying that for a long time. And if you read my Federalist article, I've been saying we're going to have a stock market crash. This week's going to be very interesting. I mean, the market is completely counterintuitive, but I think it's going to be a bad week. Ed from Queens! Ed from Queens! In your opinion, when will Bitcoin crash to 10,000 and will it be a good time to buy? Will it recover? If so, when? Sold it all 3 days ago. Ed from Queens, I think it'll probably hit 10,000 by May. So if you look, Ed, thank you so very much. Thank you, Ed. If you look, now again, I am not a day trading aficionado. I'm not like, that's not, who I am. But see, it took, let me see if we can see this here. Okay. It took, let me see if I can make this larger. All right. So let's see here. Ed from Queens. Yvette! If only stock market crash was relevant to me. Love you. Yvette, thank you. I don't have any money in the market. I don't have any stocks either. Yvette, I don't have any stocks either. I think that this issue, Yvette, thank you so very much for your support always on Patreon and on Super Chat. Thank you, Yvette. The stock market issue is going to merge. It's going to become a political issue. Drew York. There he is. Oh. I think that's Joe Namath. Drew, thank you. The stock market issue is going to become a political issue. Yvette, everyone here. That's why I'm doing a lot of these segments. Because the stock market issue, the economics, the complete catastrophe that Mashed Potato Brains and his political party pushed upon us is going to become a purely political issue also, in addition to an economic issue. Why? Because there was only one side primarily, in addition to, cowardly Republicans who were generally never Trumpers, that pushed these economic catastrophes upon the country, basically ending all economic activity. But Ed from Queens, I think that if you look right here, it only took November, December, January, about 2.5 months. It only took about 2.5 months to go from 64,000 to 35,000. Okay? And that was during a very positive, I would say, and I was telling people before November, October, the article in the Federalist was published, and I was telling people that everything's going to tank. I mean, tank. Yvette Moore, Yvette. Hopefully, my future husband is taking notes. Haven't met him yet, but Yvette, Yvette, thank you. Yvette, thank you so very, very much. Yvette Moore, thank you. Thank you, Yvette. I hope you're having a great, great evening, or I think it's a day, wonderful day where you're at right now. And just hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day. I JG, hello. Um, it only took two. It only took two. It only took 2 months to fall about $30,000, about $25,000. Okay, that was during a time when you had uh, everyone saying, "Oh, the economy is roaring back, and these are record." If there were record profits here, if companies were experiencing record profits here and inflation hadn't hit yet, imagine now we have Netflix, we have, I mean, just Goldman Sachs, Netflix, all these horrible earnings reports, the market tanking. Jeremy Grantham says the S&P 500 is going to dwindle to half its value. Half its value. Jeremy Grantham, one of the great investors, says there's a super bubble that's going to completely burst. Michael Burry says it's like basically the worst time in the history of man, in the history of investing to invest, the greatest bubble by a magnet, by an order of two. Elon Musk says there's going to be a recession, and I've been talking about a financial crisis because of the stock market crash. I wrote about that in the Federalist. The article's below. So Ed from Queens, I don't think it's going to take if January, February, March, April, May, probably by May or June, April, May or June, it could hit 10,000. I just think that we. I just think that like I said, for your life, everybody, you want happiness, health, love, laughter, beauty. You want to be able to, just breathe and be happy, and you focus on your loved ones, what makes you content, and hobbies, writing poetry, working out, whatever. Tell somebody you love them. Your life is going to be on an upwards trajectory, okay? That's what I wish for everybody. All right? And so when I say that the sky is falling, your life, I'm not including your personal life or your hopes, your dreams, and all of that. In terms of the American economy, it's going to take a gigantic dump within the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And when I mean, gigantic dump, I mean, unfortunately, a horrible spiral downwards into the pit of where. We're going to where in a handbasket because the smartest people in the room said, "You're wrong, Dr. Rand." And, the smartest, most educated people in the room, they were revered for their expertise. Are you an expert? No, but the experts tanked our economy, so what? But I want to read you this. So, I mean, you can see Bitcoin price and Dow Jones. So, I mean, you could see here, it's not going to take long. It's not going to take long for the Dow to go down. I mean, when the Dow goes down to 20,000, I don't know. It could be it could be, it could be like September of this year, or even it could be no, I'm probably next year, probably 2023. It'll hit 20,000, but it'll probably get to 25,000 or 28,000, 27,000 by June. Maybe before then. I mean, you could get to 27,000 or 28,000 in a couple of months. Not even. Actually, less than that. We're going to have a stock market crash, so 20% down would be about 7,000 points down. And so you're looking at 27,000. Yeah. So, I mean, you could get to 27,000 within a month or 2 months. It could happen in a couple of days, or it could happen in 2 months. I mean, you went down 2,000 points in a week. So, I mean, you could get to close to 20,000 in a matter of a couple of months. It's just, that's how many terrible days there are. I don't know how many terrible days there are going to be in the market. Probably a great many terrible days. Once the negative sentiment takes place, this is an interesting article. Once negative sentiment takes place, I mean, once social media starts pumping negative sentiment. So, Bitcoin or oil, what to buy in 2022? I want to show you really quickly. This is interesting. So, Bitcoin, oil, the oil is going to go up, but here you have Bitcoin, oil, and the stock market. So Bitcoin and the stock market did very well in 2021. Okay, and then gold, people invest in gold not to make money, but to keep their wealth and possibly make some money because they know that they're not going to lose their money with gold. I mean, that's my take. But I think you'll have oil that's just going to go to record highs, unfortunately, because when Russia invades Ukraine, you'll have oil at over $100 per barrel. But Bitcoin went up 60% or so. It's probably going to go down, like I said, to 10,000. It will go down to 10,000, possibly below. But this is interesting too. You see, like commodities, lithium, which is very, very harmful to mind, ethanol, coal at an all-time high. So let's just read this here. One of the reasons I do think also cryptocurrencies are going to take a hit is crypto is in turmoil as Russia eyes ban on Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency markets were in turmoil on Friday as Russia eyed a ban on Bitcoin. So that's in addition to the ban by China. Then you have a whole lot of other countries that have banned it. But here, I want to just continue reading. Sorry. I want to continue reading the mining of it. So, key takeaways. Bitcoin mining is the process of creating new Bitcoins by solving a computational puzzle. See, this is very important to crypto investors. This is the intrinsic value, being able to have a fixed amount of Bitcoin and working to solve these computational equations or puzzles or formulas, but you still have the Warren Buffetts of the world or the Peter Schiff that they don't see the value in that. They don't see the value in just solving or mining. They don't see the value in the mining process of Bitcoin. Now, you might say, well, there is value. There's intrinsic value to that mining process, but they don't see that. That's my point. Miners have become very sophisticated over the past several years, using complex machinery to speed up mining operations. Bitcoin mining has generated controversy because it is not considered environmentally friendly. Just as gold is mined from the earth, using large implements and machines, Bitcoin mining also uses big systems akin to data centers. These centers solve mathematical puzzles generated by Bitcoin's algorithm. Yvette Moore! The extreme preppers are sitting back and laughing hysterically and enjoying at home. That's true. That's true. But you know what? I think it is important. I would say, stock up on canned goods. Yvette Moore, thank you. They're ready. It's interesting. Would the extreme preppers believe in Bitcoin or not? They probably half do and half don't. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you. Yes. By solving computational math problems, Bitcoin miners also make the cryptocurrency's network trustworthy by verifying its transaction information. They verify 1 megabyte worth of transactions the size of a single block. These transactions can theoretically be as small as one transaction, but are more often several thousand depending on how much data each transaction stores. The idea behind verifying Bitcoin transactions information is to prevent double spending. With printed currencies, counterfeiting is always an issue, but generally, when you spend $20 at the store, that bill is in the clerk's hand. With digital currency, however, it's a different story. Digital information can be reproduced relatively easily, so with Bitcoin and other digital currencies, there is a risk that a spender could make a copy of their Bitcoin and send it to another party while still holding on to the original. Bitcoin transactions are aggregated into blocks that are added to a database called blockchain. Okay. Full nodes in Bitcoin's network maintain a record of the blockchain and verify transactions occurring on it. Bitcoin miners download the entire history of blockchain and assemble valid transactions into a block. If the block of assembled transactions is accepted and verified by other miners, then the miners receive a block reward. So the block reward is halved every 210,000 blocks, or roughly every 4 years. In 2009, it was 50. In 2013, the reward declined to 25. In 2016, it became 12.5. In Bitcoin's most recent halving event, the reward was exchanged to 6.25. So Peter Schiff or Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger or like more traditional investors would say there's no value to this. There's no reason that this is important. Oh, here's another. As Bitcoin reaches its planned limit of 21 million, expected around 2140, miners will be rewarded with fees for processing transactions that network users will pay. These fees ensure that miners still have the incentive to mine and keep the network going. The idea is that competition for these fees will cause them to remain low after halving events are finished. What is the Bitcoin mining puzzle? Mining math puzzle. At the heart of Bitcoin mining math puzzle is that miners are supposed to solve. At the heart of Bitcoin mining is a math puzzle that miners are supposed to solve in order to earn Bitcoin rewards. The puzzle is called proof of work, a reference to computational work expanded by miners to mine Bitcoin. Though it is often referred to as complex, the mining puzzle is actually fairly simple and can be described as guesswork. The miners in Bitcoin's network try to come up with 64-digit hexadecimal number called a hash that is less than or equal to a target hash. Okay, so you can read this yourself. You can tell that I'll never be a crypto mogul because I'm tuning out even after I'm reading all of this. I kind of knew all of this. I'm just reading it, and is there intrinsic value to this? Younger people would say yes. Younger people interested in this will say yes, because um, because computers and technology, or I should say the internet and computers, are very important. Like, most of the people who are really, really into Bitcoin, most of the people who are really into Bitcoin don't remember what it was like without. It's true. It's true. Best Buy. It's true. Most people who are into crypto, they um they don't know what it's like without the internet. I remember what it was like without cell phones, without the internet. I had a pager. How many people had pagers? Okay. So it's definitely a different view of life, and that's why I think the the viewpoint that the mining is it provides intrinsic value. I think the mining process, to a great many people, especially people who were younger than 35, let's say, the mining process provides intrinsic value. The mining process to Warren Buffett or Peter Schiff is worthless. Or the fact that there's a fixed amount, or the fact that it's a digital currency or cryptocurrency and all of that. But anyway, let's just read this here. Crypto is crashing, and experts predict more pain ahead. Well, I'm not an expert, but I'm saying that I've been saying it's going to get to 10,000. Payphones, yes. Payphones were fantastic. And so the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, the top two, I read this already. All right. So, whoa. What's this? This is amazing. All right. So let's see here. So you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the Cardano and all the Dogecoin here. Look at that. So this is the new um this is the stock market, or this is, I should say, the market for currency, um currency exchange for this new generation, forex for this new generation. It looks cool on the on the screen. Anyway, unfortunately, that Bitcoin is going to reach 10,000. And I have no clue. I mean, I won't even speculate on Ethereum and Tether and all of that. And I won't even speculate on all these others. Um, Solano, I won't even speculate. I wouldn't even know where to start speculating, but they're all going to decrease. If Bitcoin is going to decrease to 10,000, then you can imagine what all the others are going to decrease to. Okay? So so I just these prices are tied to the US economy and how the US economy does. If we have record profits, you saw Bitcoin at 60,000 plus. If we have, well, we will have a stock market. We're seeing a stock market crash. We're seeing a stock market crash, and unfortunately, a lot of, and I say this like I mean this, unfortunately, a lot of really wonderful people, a lot of young people who were wonderful, a lot of idealistic, wonderful, intelligent, extremely intelligent people are going to lose 80, 90%, 60, 70, 80, 90% of the money that they invested. That's because there's a direct correlation between the stock market crash, the recession we're going to have, Biden's policies, and the Democratic Party's policies. You cannot focus on climate change after you've ended economic activity. You cannot make climate change the central theme of your presidency or one of the main objectives. Combating climate change can't be one of your main objectives because you will see an immediate increase and record highs in oil, gas, coal, and fossil fuels. That's what's happening. And when you have a record high in fossil fuels, you have the economy slowing down. And then when you have inflation that's running rampant and you focused on climate change and you want to move towards renewables when renewables aren't pragmatic and don't provide the energy needs that the economy demands after you've ended economic activity and then turned on the light switch and said, "Oh, we're back." Well, energy demands go soaring through the roof. And you've made it very difficult to extract fossil fuels. You've made it very difficult for the supply. You've actually, in a way, limited the supply of fossil fuels while at the same time demand is increasing to record levels. And you sit there on your lofty perch saying, "Oh, we have to combat climate change." Like, well, that's an important issue. I agree with that. I agree that climate change is an important issue, but it's not something that you can just address right after you push to end economic activity. So the people who pushed to end economic activity, okay, primarily the Democratic Party, media, mashed potato brains, everyone around him. When you push to end economic activity to keep us safe from you know what, and then you obsessed about you know what after, you didn't do anybody any good. Okay, and I mean the price is tied to how the economy is doing. The economy, we're experiencing stock market crash because it's interesting. The stock market crash we're experiencing is tied to the interesting and logical elements of the Bitcoin philosophy or the philosophy on crypto, which is, well, this isn't going to be a currency where a central bank can manipulate. So Bitcoin can't just be created by a central bank and manipulated. And by the way, the Federal Reserve wants its own coin. They're going to come out with their own coin soon. And I mean, you have Facebook and Twitter talking about their own crypto. It's like, I would stay far away from, my God, what a nightmare that would be. But you would think that the philosophy behind Bitcoin, you would think is, you would think that the reason people like Bitcoin is tied to the reason we're going to experience a stock market crash, because the Fed and Congress pumped $10 trillion into the economy after they engaged in the most foolish, maniacal, self-induced wound of ending economic activity. I talked about that. I wrote about that in the Federalist in October when I predicted the stock market crash. And like I said, it could go down slowly again, or it could just crash this week even harder. Ed from Queens had a pager and ran to payphone. Exactly, to call back. Exactly. Check newspaper for stock prices. So did I. Sell all my stocks. Sell all my, Ed, I can't tell you. I can't tell you to do anything. I would just say that if you cannot withstand the massive price fluctuations and you need that cash, I would say you're probably a long ways from retiring. Anyone retiring has no business being in the market. Absolutely no business being in the market. So, anyone retiring has no business being in the market. If I needed liquidity and if I needed cash and if I didn't care about, investments going up, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say Warren Buffett and Michael Burry and Jeremy Grantham and Elon Musk are wrong. Okay? They know a great deal about the market. Let's say they're wrong. They know infinitely more about the market than I do. Let's say they're wrong and stocks just continue to go up this year. Well, they're probably not going to. The worst case scenario for a bear market prediction is that stocks go up and you lose all the money. You lose the money from the stocks. You lose money from stocks going up that if you got out of the stocks. However, you're seeing companies miss earnings or revise expectations or lower expectations. The market could go up Monday and then down the rest of the week. The market could go up Monday and Tuesday and then down the rest of the week. The market could go down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then go up Thursday and Friday. Or we can have a stock market like we're seeing a stock market crash, but you could have like one of the worst days in market history, where it goes down below more than 3,000. And I mean, all this week we'll talk about that, because it seems, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that this doesn't seem like a political issue. It doesn't seem like a political issue, but the stock market and the economy will be a political issue. So I usually talk about politics, or recent events, or Alec Baldwin's mania. But this is going to be definitely a political issue. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you've been so wonderful. To my super chat, thank you. You've been so wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we'll go 6 more minutes or so um until 1 full hour. But doesn't that screen look nice? Okay, so anyway, so let's go back here. If you look at in March of 2020, went down to 19,000. Why wouldn't we get down there again? Inflation, labor shortages, supply chain issues, Evergrande in China, the real estate market in China, geopolitical concerns. Why wouldn't we get to that? Oil at over $100 per barrel. Options, at $200 per barrel. That would be an end to the global economy. You don't have, I mean, it's pretty obvious what we did. Well, it's pretty obvious what maniacs who were very highly educated, the experts, the authorities, it's pretty obvious what they did. I mean, you could look and it's like, if you thank you, Freedom Autopsy, you're awesome. You've been so supportive and so wonderful for so long. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much, as always. Thank you. Derivatives, true, JG. The derivatives trades of hedge funds, they're going to go under. I mean, these hedge funds are going to go under, I think. You're going to have a huge, huge, huge problem with derivatives. You're going to have a huge problem with hedge funds, margin debt, $1 trillion in margin debt. Because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, who allowed this margin? Democrats did. These are the same Democrats who are like, oh, Biden's helping child poverty. He caused the increase, or I should say Democrats caused the increase in child poverty. They prevented the parents from working. They prevented people from working. Then they said, we're going to protect you with an eviction moratorium. You prevented people from paying their rent. I mean, and they're still obsessed with you know what. It will never end. That's why people go to red states to party, like AOC and Swalwell. They know what's going on. They know what's up. It's like a religious cult, ladies and gentlemen. But like with every cult, there's unfortunately a moment where people leave, or there's a Jonestown type of moment. And right now we're having a catastrophe because the maniacs see this right here. And again, I'm not like a very good with charts and graphs, but this is going way down, way down. How low can you go? Way down. So it went way back up and way down. Unfortunately, that's going to be the case. Unfortunately, that's going to be the case. And like I said, be careful. The main thing is your life and your happiness. That's the main thing. Stay happy. Tell somebody you love them. Focus on what gives you happiness, that's healthy and that's good. Hobbies, working out, whatever. But the future of the country, it ain't going to be good for this year is going to be one of the toughest years because we already had 2 years of turmoil. Now now I hate to say this, but the chickens are going to come home to roost, or you reap what you sow. You keep on doing these types of things. You keep on messing with a functioning economy, the greatest economy in the world. You keep on imposing arbitrary draconian protocols, and you keep on pumping money into the economy, and you keep on preventing people from working. Poverty is going to increase, unfortunately, and it's going to be directly the result of Democratic Party policies. Um, Timothy, thank you. Hope all is well. It's going to be directly because of ending the U.S. economy 2 years ago, pumping $10 trillion into the economy, preventing and stifling speech. These are all hallmarks of liberal ideology the past couple of years. I mean, it's like you'd have to be a complete imbecile to think this wouldn't lead to catastrophe. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. God bless. Have a great, great evening. Thank you. Jimmy B747, thank you so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. God bless. To my super chat, Janet, everyone here. Yvette, Janet, Ed from Queens, Drew, everyone here. Thank you so very much. Herschel, thank you. I will see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great, great day or evening. And JG, thank you so much. Always an honor and a pleasure. And I'll see everybody here. Eric and Luke, thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Oh, subscribe to the Stock Market Crash